Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. I am your host, Charlene, and I'm really happy you're joining me for today's podcast episode, which is all about Loki. And I have a guest joining me in just a little bit, whom you all love to hear from, the Pagan Padre. But first, some things I have recently done to help with my own personal practice. So this past weekend, I really got into my home and hearth and enjoyed time in my kitchen. I grabbed a bunch of organic lemons and used just about every part of them, creating things that I can use later. Of course, I had the raw lemon juice, that I saved in a mason jar in the fridge. I really like hot lemon water before I go to bed. I also dried the lemon peels that were cut into thin slices and then coated them with some sugar, making a nice little jar of candied lemon slices. Yum. But I also cut some of them up and added them to some cinnamon rolls that I baked for one of my clients as a thank you for helping me with some car trouble that I had last week. Lastly, I used the water and the sugar mixture that I boiled the lemon skin slices in and used it as a lemon sugar reduction. I also saved that, and it is waiting for some future baking. It was nice, using all parts of the lemon, and oh my gosh, my kitchen smelled amazing. I also fed my sourdough starter and worked on it a little bit over the weekend. I am so happy about this new batch of starter. I ended up using Yule stormwater gathered this past December, along with whole wheat, bread flour, and it's bubbling up so wonderfully. I actually started it last weekend knowing I would need 2 full weeks of, kind of a feed schedule before baking for in bulk next week. Speaking of in bulk, my candle kit came in and I looked at all the supplies with it. I really do think I have just about everything I need to make my first ever candle. I also ordered some regular white taper candles so I can have my entire kitchen lit up and decorated with pine cones and candles going while I'm making my in bulk bread and creating my first candle. So I'm really excited for that to come up. I also went to the Santa Barbara Symphony this past weekend and enjoyed a night of drinks with friends first, and then, oh my gosh, the amazing music that was accompanied by 4 opera singers this time. It really added another level to the orchestra. The night ended with a wonderful playing of Ride of the Valkyries, and even if you are not into classical music, or maybe you don't recognize the name, I am sure no matter what your age is, you will recognize the music. Let me play a little clip so you can know what I'm talking about. So you recognize it, right? We know that song. To see it and hear it in person was so moving. Now, I grew up going to the symphony. It was a big part of my family life, and I really appreciate it on an entirely different level now as an adult. But for my 2 boys growing up, I played symphony, symphony type classical music when they were doing homework all the time. And the classics, Beethoven, Mozart. But, I think, honestly, Pandora even has a station called Classical Music to Study With. But what would happen is that on the weekends, when it was cartoon time, they would recognize many of the pieces they heard while they were doing homework. Now, not knowing the names of the pieces or anything, just, I would hear them say, hey, we heard this song last night during homework, or, something like that. It was cute. I often have classical music going at my office while I work. I really do enjoy it, especially pieces with a piano soloist or really piano pieces in general. I really like that. So it was fun. It was a fun weekend. I really had a great night, and the Santa Barbara Symphony was just amazing, as they always are. But boy, that opera insert really moved me, and to have, the grand finale piece be Ride of the Valkyries was perfect. Now, Ride of the Valkyries is basically all about fear and bravery and heroism. So you're going to hear that piece pulled in for different movies, and certainly back to the cartoons. We will hear it, in them too. But Valkyries are actually Odin's messengers-ish. They're females that ride into battle on flying horses who take the brave dead soldiers' souls to Valhalla. Now, the music is very moving for a reason. It's an honor to go to Valhalla. And speaking of Odin and his Valkyries, this really does walk us nicely into the Norse mythology, which is what we are talking about today. And not all of the Norse gods and goddesses, but one in particular, Loki. I'm really happy to have Justin, the Pagan Padre, back with us to share everything he knows about working with him. Hello, Justin. Thank you so much for coming back to Witchy Work Wishes. And this time we are welcoming a big story about Loki, or at least your take on him.
What's up, Charlene? It's so good to be back.
And I have to tell the listeners, this is our third time trying to record an episode about Loki. He is just messing with us.
Yes. Third time is the charm. Good things come in three.
That's right. It absolutely does. All right, so I am starting to do a little bit more research on the Norse deities, and Loki is certainly a popular topic in our cinemas and series on TV and things like that. But I wanted to get the true take on him and some of his energy and how we can work with him in our practice.
Of course. Loki is my patron deity.
Oh.
And he is just, yes. So he's just been a really great energy to have around.
And how were you drawn to Loki? Did you have a sign, or did he reach out to you first?
Yeah, so he definitely reached out to me when I was making my first rune set, which I believe I talked about during the Norse Pagan episode.
Yes.
He would not allow me to seal the Kenaz rune, which is his rune.
Sure.
It just would not seal. And it took me probably a month to get that one rune sealed.
Oh my gosh. And did you recognize it right away what was going on, or did it take some time for you to understand that it was actually Loki working with you?
It took me probably getting burned 3 times, like physically burned.
Oh my God. No. Physically burned? You actually got physically burned?
Yes. Twice when I was working on a vehicle and once when I was baking bread.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just started some bread this morning, speaking of.
Perfect. We made some crescent rolls this morning.
Oh, good for you guys. So homemade bread is just the best. Okay, so if somebody is new in this field, as far as working with Loki, what would be some signs that they might get, whether they're consciously aware of them or not, but some signs that they might get that Loki is reaching out?
I would say if you're normally a very structured, organized person and you know where everything is, and everything all of a sudden just disappears. Or your space is out of array for what seems like no reason, that's definitely a sign.
And can Loki actually say, no, I don't want to work with you? Or can any of it, is that typically something a deity would do? Is like, hey, no, you're not ready. No, this isn't time.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've had that happen to me with the Morgan. She was just like, no, bud. No, you're not ready.
No. And I think you had mentioned before potentially, or that you worked with Loki's daughter, right? Hel?
She has popped up here and there. When we were talking about it last night on attempt number 2.
Yes.
Yes. Loki's daughter is Hel. So if you watch any of the Marvel movies, the woman in the second movie, I believe Helena, or however they called her. They depict her as being his sister,
Mm-hmm.
and she most definitely is not.
I see.
Uh, yes, that is his daughter. She's the goddess of hell, hence her name.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's called Niflheim. My Norse is not the best,
Mm-hmm.
um, but that is her domain. That's where like all the normal people go, like
Mm-hmm.
you and me and people who didn't die gloriously in battle.
Right.
That's her domain. So I was driving home from work one day
Mm-hmm.
past a military cemetery because I live right here by Fort Johnson.
Right.
And she was like, "Hey, you need to go turn around and talk to this lady." And I'm like, "I'm not going to be doing that today. No, ma'am."
No, 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 no.
Yeah. And she's like, "Okay, okay." And then my car proceeded to like just mess up and like cost me to swerve off the road.
Oh,
Yes. So I said, "Okay, fine, you win."
I give.
I I give up. Yeah. Uh, I turned around and I went back to that cemetery, and I met this random lady,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband had just passed. He was just buried like a week or so before.
Oh my gosh.
And I proceeded to, introduce myself and just explain to her that like, hey, so the Norse goddess of the underworld sent me here to tell you that your husband's okay. This is
Oh
what he
my
was
God.
wearing.
Yeah.
This is what he's currently wearing, in his casket. This
Yeah.
is what he looked like.
Oh my gosh, Justin, this is giving
Proceed.
me chills.
She proceeded to give me like his nickname, everything. Hello, Lonan. Um,
And you were saying this all to the widow?
to this widow who I've never met, never seen before.
Did you completely freak her out?
Oh yeah, she was sobbing and
I would
crying
be in
and
tears.
like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She was unconsolable, and then she hugged me. She thanked me. I said, "You have a great day." I got in my car and I went home.
How did that
Yes.
resonate with you that night?
Um,
That's
I've always
powerful.
yes, I've always been able to see spirits and ghosts and things like that
Okay.
always, but I've never been like, "Hey, here's the instant download of like what I'm looking at." Like I was that day.
And verbalize it like that to somebody you don't
Yeah,
even know.
yeah,
Mm.
yes.
So that's a God, talk about working with somebody for the first time. Was that actually your first time or no? That was
That was my very first time.
unbelievable. That's powerful, Justin. That's an amazing experience.
Yeah, it was very wild. 10 out of 10, don't want to do it again.
Yeah. Right?
Um, not like on the cusp like that.
Holy cow. Have you worked with her again? Loki's daughter?
She's popped up here and there to be like, "Hey, go talk to this random spirit that's in the cemetery." And I'm like, "No, thank you. I have places to be."
You can't keep doing this to me.
Yeah, literally. And I proceed to go on about my way, and
Oh,
she doesn't really bother me.
okay. So that was maybe she just realized that that first hit was just way too much.
Maybe that lady just really needed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. So for Loki, why have you connected with him so closely, or why is he so important in your practice?
Loki is a parent. He
Hmm.
has multiple children. For the people who are in LGBTQIA plus,
Hmm.
he is very gender fluid,
Hmm.
and I don't have parents anymore. I haven't had my
Oh,
dad since I was 10, and my mom since I was 20.
I didn't
So
know that, Justin. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Uh, so he's just kind of stepped in as like that parent role.
Hmm.
Someone that I can talk to and rant and get advice from.
You're confident. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And it was one of those when I first started, I put feelers out to just any deity that wanted anything to do with me.
Hmm.
It didn't matter who it was. I just, was just putting feelers out.
Sure.
And that's when I made my first rune set. And that's when he popped up and was like, "What's up, buddy?" Yes.
And then
So
you,
it's
you
been
just felt connected enough to where you're like, okay, yeah, I want you a consistent part of my practice.
no, he just kept coming back.
Oh,
He, he just kept coming back. Like there was no He was like, we're destined to be together, buddy. And
This is happening whether you like it or not.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just kind of accepted it, and he has proven time and time again that he is definitely my patron deity.
That's got to feel comforting though, right? Like, this is my guy.
Oh yeah, most definitely. If anything crazy or like off the wall happens that like doesn't normally happen, I'm like, I stop and take a second. I'm like, Loki, was that you? And then I just hear like a chuckle in the back of my head, and I'm like, come on, man, not today.
I can say as far as recording with guests, I've never had a three-time effort, trying to get a recording done. So this is brand new. Again, fitting if it's if it's
Yeah,
Loki,
it's fitting, like
it's
right
fitting.
on the nose.
Right, right. Okay, so when you're working with Loki, do you have special like altar stuff for him, or is it more just like slowing down and meditating and talking with him, or just recognizing when he's a part of your life?
For me, I've had a crazy last 3 years. I moved to South Carolina last year, and then I lost my job, like
Mhm.
out of nowhere. Moved back, stayed with some family, and like in just in a one room with just me and my wife and kids.
Yep.
And now we're in like a tiny house, which is like a 1 bedroom house. So it's a little bit bigger, a little bit more space. So I have no room for it all.
Oh, sure, sure.
We have a spider that's in my laundry room, which is where I'm recording at.
You're in the
His
laundry room? I love that.
Yeah, I'm folding laundry.
Okay. I hear you.
Uh,
I love it.
we have a spider in the corner of the laundry room, and that's just the Loki spider.
Okay, so that brings up a good question. What are the typical animals associated with Loki? Spider, obviously.
Spiders, wolves, snakes,
Mm-hmm.
horses, believe it or not.
Now for does that tie into his three children? I know we've got a snake and a wolf. I don't know what the other one is.
Uh, Hell is his
Is,
daughter.
is Hell an animal figure though?
No,
Oh,
Hell. Yeah, when you see Hell, she's depicted of having half the face of a beautiful maiden and that half of a rotting corpse.
I'm with you. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
And then Fenrir is the wolf, right?
Yes, that's the wolf that is said to kill Odin during Ragnarok.
Yep.
And then Sleipnir, his eight-legged horse child.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Um, for those of you who work with Odin, will know that Sleipnir is Odin's horse, and he is also Loki's child that Loki gave birth to.
That is Odin's horse?
Yes, that is Odin's horse.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
I love it when it all ties together like this. This is amazing.
yes, so Loki, being the chaos trickster deity that he is,
Mm-hmm.
um, was tasked to. Well, let's back up for a second.
Yeah.
The gods, once Odin realized Ragnarok was happening,
Okay.
he went and commissioned this giant to build a wall around Asgard.
Okay.
And he was like, the giant was like, oh, it's going to take too much money. And the gods were like, well, if you do it in this amount of time, we'll give it to you for free, and we'll give you, I don't remember who it was, one of the goddesses' hands in marriage.
Oh, okay.
Um, so this giant and his giant horse
Mm-hmm.
was most definitely getting the job done way ahead of time.
Okay.
So Odin and the gods had a meeting. They were like, we have to stop him. We cannot like let this happen.
Okay.
And Loki was like, it's okay, hold my beer. And
Oh, my beer.
yeah, hold my beer. I
Oh, my
got
beer.
this.
I got it. I got it.
So Loki proceeds to transform himself into a giant mare
Oh.
and flirtatiously lead off this giant horse.
Smart.
And then about, a week and a half later, past the deadline,
Uh-huh.
the giant didn't finish, and Loki came back with a child,
Oh,
which was a giant eight-legged horse named Sleipnir.
there it is. Okay,
Yes,
that's a great
so
story. I like that.
yes, it's right up Loki's alley to just go and do something off the wall and be like,
And then
well,
Odin kept
I did
that
my job.
eight-legged horse for himself.
Yes, it was yeah, that was like Odin's trophy.
That is amazing. That's a great story. So what about, and I don't think I've asked you this question before, but I always like to tie some stuff into The Office. When do
Hmm.
you think Loki would be showing signs that he's maybe visiting us at work?
Ooh, that's a good one. So like like I said, if you're normally a very organized person
Hmm.
and you know exactly where everything is, like sit down at your desk, close your eyes, and know like this is where my pens are.
Yeah.
This is where my paper clips are. Well, you go to work one day and you reach over to grab your pens, and they're not there. They're on the other side of the desk for no reason. That would probably be a good sign that Loki's there.
That Loki's there. Yeah. I mean,
Most
certainly
definitely.
chaos and mischief can happen in the office and the corporate world.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
There's times where you kind of not only you just see it coming, or you can kind of expect it. And then there's other times like what you just said, like there's no rhyme or reason. This should not be happening.
Yeah,
That sounds more like Loki-ish.
yeah, most definitely.
Do you think
Yeah.
there are any opportunities to work with Loki to help us in the office? Or is that something we probably don't necessarily want to invite in? I mean, it's
You
not all
know,
bad, right?
I guess it depends on what kind of job you work. If you work like a
Mhm.
really high-paced job, like most of my jobs have been in the kitchen,
Sure.
where it's high-paced, chaos, like dishes flying around, got to get stuff done,
Yeah.
like just pure chaos. Um, I would say like that would be a good place to work with Loki.
Hmm.
Even like your first responders, they deal with chaotic things all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
So, just to have that extra little bit of comfort, like, hey, I got your back when the chaos happens.
Hmm. I know you mentioned that, Loki is gender fluid, and I think as far as different people, working with him, that's probably going to be one of his greatest assets is that he's really going to be relatable no matter where you are in your journey, no matter what you associate with or identify as, like there's going to be qualities of Loki for everyone to work with.
Yeah, most definitely. He definitely has that balance of feminine and masculine energy.
Hmm. And isn't that true though in the general world? Like there's just it can't be all one-sided. There's got to be a balance of everything.
Oh, most definitely. Loki's like really and truly the only quote unquote male deity that I work with or
Oh,
even talk to. Yeah, my what's it, matron deity is Sakate.
yeah, she's powerful.
Yeah, so it's I definitely had the balance of order and chaos.
Hmm.
But you had mentioned things for to put on like an altar for Loki,
Yes,
or well, let's talk about that. I
sure.
Joanne Fabrics. Go to Joanne Fabrics. They have all the coolest little knickknacks.
That is like the craft heaven. It's like
Yeah, yeah. I looked up and I totally forgot about these little lights that I had. They're battery operated and they're little snakes.
ooh,
And I remembered I got them specifically for Loki, and the batteries have ran out for like the past like they've probably been dead for the last 3 months.
sure.
And I just looked up and saw them.
On?
Yeah,
They're on?
no, they're off.
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh,
I don't even think they'll. I don't even think they will turn on. If we're going to be completely honest.
you're gonna That's fair.
Yeah, like yeah, no, not turning on.
No. Okay, but Joann's
No.
Fabrics is definitely a fabric store. It's got craft stuff, and it
Yeah.
is. It's an amazing place to be.
Yes. So they always have like little knickknacks, perfect for like where I find a lot of stuff that really and truly is just like, oh, Loki Central, like snakes, spiders, like at the most random times of the year too.
Really?
Oh yeah, like we found these in August.
Ooh.
Yeah, like nowhere's near Halloween, nowhere's near
Yeah.
time to put up snake decorations. Like it was just random.
Now, have you ever been out at work? Because I know you work outside and driving a lot, where a snake has actually like crossed your path or anything, or like come up to you where Loki's trying to get your attention more deliberately?
Oh yeah, most
You
definitely.
have? Yeah.
Yeah, for those who are new and just want to learn about Loki, I work for for the garbage company
Hmm.
here, and I used to work on the back of the truck.
You,
I came in contact with all the wildlife.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I used to be the guy who hangs off the back of the truck.
that's right.
Yeah, so yeah, so we were picking up some trash,
Hmm.
and I just so happened to be like, hey, don't mess with this pile.
Ooh.
And the guy that I was working with, they were like, why? I'm like, I actually got a bad feeling about it. Well, we took our rake and flipped it, and sure enough, there was a gigantic copperhead.
Oh, a copperhead?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That most definitely, like, the little tingle I got was like Loki being like, hey, bud, don't mess with this one.
This is not your pile. Don't pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other part I think that, for all of us in the practice, we do get a lot of signs and we do have a lot of intuition and gut feelings because something is, reaching out to us, but do we listen? Like you could have easily just ignored that and been like, "Psh, whatever, but you listen and not only listen, do you verbalize it so your friend or your coworker didn't get bit.
Yeah. And it happens a lot more frequently than like you would think. Like, I'll get snakes run across the road and like places snakes shouldn't be. And I'm like, hmm,
I
what are
look.
you doing here, little guy? And then sure enough, about 5 to 10 minutes later, I'm driving around a curve and almost get hit.
Oh, so you think that that delayed you enough so you didn't actually get hit?
Oh, most definitely.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loki. Okay,
Uh,
what about spiders though? I didn't know spiders. I guess I would have assumed snakes with, the images of the three kids. But
yeah.
how do spiders play a role with him?
I don't really believe they're in like Norse mythology.
Mhm.
I see spiders and like Loki's just like, hey, that's mine. It's mine.
Oh, okay.
That's what is it? UPG, UVG, unverified gnosis. Like that's my practice.
Okay.
Yeah. But for me, look, spiders have always been like a symbol of Loki.
Gotcha. Well, that's what matter. That it's probably for everybody, but it's specifically in your practice, you're like, hey, I'm connected. This is part of him.
Yeah, I mean, like we have little. Actually, I'm up here now, and we have one, two, three, four spiders.
Really? The little colony. It's a family. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this or not on the recording for everybody listening, but there is a toad outside of my window, and every time I start talking, he starts croaking. So I hopefully we can hear him a little bit here.
I've not been able to hear him in my
Yeah.
headset at all. I'm
Okay.
sure you guys can hear my little chaos demons.
We love those guys.
Yeah,
All right, so you've got a spider and I've got a toad. I got to figure out who works with toads.
I don't even know,
All right? I don't know either.
honestly.
I don't know if that's with somebody. It might just be random with fairies or something.
It most definitely could be. No,
Yeah.
they're just fairies.
Yeah, it's just the fairies talking. Okay, so Loki. So certainly we could identify some things at work if he is poking his head around or maybe doing things intentionally to delay us. Like just what you said for the snake, delaying, picking up that pen and writing something, or because the pens got moved, and it wasn't you. Maybe it's all to balance things out of what's going on at the office a little bit more, that there's got to be that both sides of the equation of, hey, slow down, take a second, reassess, or who knows? I mean, there could be a lot of different meanings with that.
Yeah, most definitely. I think for me something that popped up like when I would go to work and I have Starbucks like on my way to work because now I walk to work. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so on my way to my job in South Carolina, I had a Starbucks that was like right down the road.
sure.
And every morning I would go and get the most horrendous tasting thing that these baristas ever heard
What'd you get?
of. I would get a green tea latte
Okay.
with 3 shots of espresso and hazelnut.
I can say I don't think I would organically put that together. Okay. That was your drink though.
That was my Loki drink.
That was your Loki drink. I love it.
It's green, which that's its color.
Okay.
Hazelnut is something that I've really like. I don't like hazelnut. I don't. And then I started drinking that. And now the only coffee I drink is hazelnut coffee.
You're just like my boys. They both love that hazelnut creamer.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Yeah.
I like Black Rifle
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
coffee. Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
They
one.
have a hazelnut coffee, and that's all I drink in my house.
That's it. There's your poison.
Yeah, it is.
I get it.
That would be a really good offering for him
Hmm.
to just be like, hey, I'm gonna order this and drink it in his honor.
Sure.
Or like if you're in a space where you can like take a little bit and have like a little shot glass, just pour a little bit in that shot glass.
Hmm. So
Um,
speaking of giving him offerings and stuff, if somebody is new to the deity world and working with the gods and the goddesses, is Loki somebody you can kind of jump into fresh out of the gate, or you think that should be for somebody a little bit later on that's got a little bit more experience?
I would definitely say he's a pretty good beginner deity,
Okay,
just because like that's who I started with. Like,
sure.
yeah, like my first at altar in my house when we lived here in Leesville the first time, it was like there's Odin, Thor, Cronus, the Morgan, Hecate,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Loki's little corner. And well, the only two people who are around, the only two that are around are Hecate and Loki. So
That's interesting. Well,
yeah, yeah.
do you feel like deities, I mean, Loki definitely sounds like he's your guy, but do you feel like deities kind of come in and out of our world as we need them, not necessarily for the long haul? Like, could they kind of float in and out as our journeys change?
Oh, most definitely. When I started getting this community together on Fort Polk or Fort
Hmm.
Johnson, it was not something I wanted to do. Odin was like, "Hey, button, I'm back after like 4 years. It's time for you to do this." And I did it, and
And look what it's turned into. My goodness.
so I would say Loki's a very, very beginner friendly.
Is there anything specifically we should watch out for or just be aware of in working with him? Like tips and tricks you can give us?
Tips and tricks for Loki.
Yeah.
Um,
Are there any?
and
Or is that in itself a
uh,
joke?
yeah, that's kind of a joke in itself.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Um, I would say, if you live a normally structured life, like I wake up at 5 a.m., I brush my teeth,
Yeah.
X, Y, Z, have a whole routine, and you start working with Loki, and that all of a sudden goes out the window, it's a good sign that you're working with Loki.
Yeah. Ready or not.
Yeah, but uh, I found that he's really easy to just talk to
Okay.
out of all the
Especially if
duties.
you're using him not in lieu of your parents, but you know what I mean, like as that father figure or as that parental figure. That
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
I wouldn't say like he's in lieu, but like he's just that parent energy that like I'm not feeling too hot.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I'm at work, and I'll just get out of the truck and sit in the woods for like a minute. And I'm like, all right, so this is what's going on in my day. I just want to talk to it. He's just there to listen.
Oh, I like that. That
Yeah.
made me think of a
And
question though. Sorry. I don't want
oh,
to interrupt you.
yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, go ahead.
is he more associated with sun energy or moon energy, or is it again that balance of both masculine and feminine?
Definitely like both.
Both.
Most definitely.
He really
Yeah.
is like the both sides. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. He
Okay.
he definitely is that yin and yang, like perfect balance
Yeah.
for me.
Sure.
Um, they
I
they,
didn't mean to
they
interrupt
call
you. Sorry.
no, it's okay. There's a lot of people who call us like the chaos crew because once you start, chaos doesn't stop.
Hmm.
It's one of those that like in EMS first responder situations where it's like, well, what's the worst that could happen? Or hey, it's been a really quiet night. You
Done.
done you done and messed up.
That's right. I have heard the first responders and people in the ER, all those guys say the same thing. Like you don't even say it out loud. Just don't say it. Don't give it power.
Yeah, or like when it's been a really slow night, it's like, it's been really slow tonight. Like, don't say that. Like
Please
just
don't.
don't.
Just don't.
Yeah.
No better. Come on.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about Loki? And I know this is gonna probably completely go the wrong way, but and I know it's more the theatrical stuff and the movies and the series that we're watching on TV, but is Thor Loki's brother?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Um,
So what about Odin being his dad? Also no.
also no.
That is also no. Okay. So Disney's really
Odin
messing me up here.
yeah, yeah. Odin and Loki are more brothers than Thor and Loki. Now they have like, if you read the stories, you could see like how people got that. Like, oh yeah, these two are definitely related.
Hmm.
Um, just sibling bickering and banter. Loki stealing Mjolnir and hiding it and having to go back and getting it.
Yeah.
Um, he's got that younger brother energy.
That vibe for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And Thor kind of has that older brother energy for sure too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thor's like, hey, what happened to my wife's hair? Oh, well, you see, what happened was I cut it off.
Why? Why?
Yeah, literally. And then Thor's got to go dressed up as Freya, wearing a wig and a dress to try and get his Mjolnir back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it with them too. It's just it. If you have siblings and you work with both of them, you'll definitely feel the sibling energy.
You'll know what it is, right?
Yeah, you'll know.
So how bad has Disney and Marvel messed it up for us?
I would say I wouldn't say horribly bad, but when you watch the movies, you gotta remember that Thor isn't fit with six pack and abs, and Loki is not a blackhead. He is a ginger.
He's a redhead.
He is a redhead through and through.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so you were talking about his fire energy, so that's probably part of it, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely,
He's,
most definitely.
he doesn't have black hair. He's a redhead. And Thor is not the buff Chris Hemsworth image that we all get right away.
No, uh, if you watch majority of the movies, you'll see when Thor becomes fat, and that's the closest to actual Thor you're gonna see.
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Yeah. Or if you look up God of War, Ragnarok, or whichever one it is,
Yeah,
they have a fat Thor, and that's the most accurate we're gonna get.
that's way
He's
more
definitely
realistic.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a bubble burster. That's too bad.
Yeah. That's what everybody says. They're like, well, why not? Like, because the man eats and drinks all day and fights. Like,
Normal people can't keep a body like that if you're eating and drinking and fighting. Well, Justin,
yeah.
what else do you think if for the listeners would be a good way to kind of wrap up Loki and even if they're kind of used to working with him, but how would you kind of help me wrap it up here?
I would say if you thrive in chaos, Loki's where to be.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
if you don't thrive in chaos, Loki's who you need to reach out to. Because he will get you very comfortable in it.
And help you
Uh,
understand, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's just a really good deity. Like, he just kind of goes with the flow, and he's like, "Oh, okay. So we're not going to work today. We're just gonna stay home and play video games and eat cheeseburgers, right?"
That's right.
I mean, there's no other way to describe him other than he's just that laid back guy until you mess with his kids.
Oh, that's like all parents, right?
Yeah,
Well, not all, but yeah. So do you
yeah.
think,
Most parents.
yeah, most all parents. If you happen to be struggling with patience or, learning to go with the flow more because life does happen, he might give you opportunities to strengthen that power and that understanding.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And me being a dad of twins
Oh gosh.
and a 4-year-old,
And one coming.
and number four on the way. Like, it's definitely been one of those. It's like I need the patience not to lose my marbles.
Oh, I can imagine. This is, yeah, you are getting tested on patience, no doubt. And they're all little. They're all young. So,
Yes, yes. My oldest isn't quite 4 yet.
oh, Justin.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
lot. You got your hands full. There's no doubt. So Loki probably is a good guy to stay close to for the next couple of years.
The fact that we had twins, the odds of that happening are slim to none. So it just goes back to what I was saying. If you don't like chaos, well, he's going to get you really comfortable with it.
He's an opportunity to learn and become better.
Most definitely. If you
Yeah.
need some character development, Loki's your man.
That's awesome.
Or
Character
if you're one of those
development.
people who really, yeah, or like if you're like one of those people who are like really uptight and you're like, my life is perfect, and you're like, I'm going to work with Loki because I can change you.
Oh,
I've met someone who was like that, and
really?
yes, they're like, "Oh, he's not like that. You just are doing it all wrong." I'm like, okay,
Okay.
come back to me in 6 months.
Uh-huh.
It's been 2,
It's been two.
and they're asking for help.
They're already like, okay, white flag. I get it. I surrender. Tell
Yeah,
me, tell me
yeah,
what to do.
yeah. Tell me how I messed up, how to fix it.
Oh my gosh.
So,
No, it's perfect. I think I have not worked with Loki before, but I feel like there have been some even just recently, like again with trying to do this podcast, I've never had to delay or start it and start it. It's the fact that we're on try number 3 here. I mean, this one's working obviously, but
Yeah, obviously.
we're in now. But this is, I feel like that was Loki peeking his head in. And I definitely feel like there are some opportunities that he's probably shown me that I haven't really jumped on or recognized, fully. But I think he
Yeah,
was absolutely a part of this recording.
most definitely. And, especially with my job, like, because I work, like I said, the work I do, it's not
Mm.
easy 9 to 5. It's like, hey, guess what? Your heater's working. Haha, just kidding. No, it's not.
That's right.
For no reason. And then you just sit there and you're cold and you're like, what's going on, man? Come on.
Odd. Well, do you have anything special planned for In Bulk coming up? I'm going to have this episode the week right before it.
Ooh, awesome. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a event on Coast. What is it? Fort Johnson Pagan Community. So I'm gonna be doing a ritual for that, and then
On actual In Bulk on the 1st or the 2nd?
it'll be on the 3rd,
Oh
just because
yeah.
we try to do things on Saturdays because it's really hard to try and get people to come, especially soldiers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
during the work week, and
we're done.
yeah. So we're gonna be doing that, and other than that, spring cleaning, like which we already started.
Yep, I did too.
Yeah, we started that today, so they get prepared to move to the new house, and
That's exciting. Hey,
yes.
remember us talking about sigils?
Mhm.
I've had so much fun with that, but I took some of my Yule stormwater that I had out, and I used that for my sourdough starter, a brand new sourdough starter that I started yesterday. So I did that. It's like I am so excited and that's going to be my first loaf of bread. So I've got 2 weeks to feed it and get it where it needs to be, and then do my first sourdough loaf for In Bulk with a good sigil on it.
Awesome.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
That's so awesome.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. So we're planning on doing like I thought I could get enough, what is it called? Cattail leaves to make Bridget crosses, and that's not gonna happen.
That's not.
No.
Okay, Loki.
Yeah, right. So I'm just gonna go to the store and buy a bunch of pipe cleaner.
Oh, that'll be cute. That'll work.
Yeah. And it'll just be, a little something fun for the kids.
That's perfect. I love that you're doing that and that it's taken off so well, and it's probably mushroomed into something way more than you originally planned, but I love that you're doing it.
Oh, most definitely.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Justin, thank you so much for taking time out today and talking about Loki that we can share with all the listeners. This has been lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have, that you had me back and to be back. And
we'll collaborate again on something real soon.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
All right. So for anybody who wants to stay for a poem, I did write one about Loki. I'll switch over to that. But for now, thank you, Justin.
Thanks, Charlene.
Okay, talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I've got my Loki poem, and it goes. If he calls, do you answer? The God of Mischief, chaos dancer. The one who tests our patience so, as anger rises and frustrations flow. But what if all the lessons come like little clues and paths of crumbs to lead us to a better place that grows our patience and our grace? The ruler of chaos he might be, but what else does he make us see? Within us all, like the power of his, the God of Mischief, Loki is. Thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow we have a beautiful full moon, and I hope you are able to take full advantage of it. I really do appreciate you listening and being a part of Witchy Work Wishes. I hope the rest of this week is wonderful, and you have a great weekend. I'll talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.